Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys a bit about the 7.35 PTR update that happened recently. First of all, not a huge amount of new things are coming out. I'm still on the lookout. As soon as they release the new Battleground Seething Shore, I'll bring you guys content on that. But until then, I just have you guys a background footage of us playing the new Brawl. Which, by the way, I gotta give some grievance. I love the idea of brawls. I personally think that this one is one of the worst brawls out there. Probably from a Rogue perspective, I'm pretty sure if I played any class besides Rogue, I'd feel a lot better. It felt a lot better playing Mabumi for this. And there's a few reasons. One, as a Rogue, you have a lot of setups, whether you have dots or personal buffs or a combination of both to maintain to get your target all lined up with cooldowns and everything. Second, a Rogue, you need a stun lock on the enemy. So once you got the cooldowns, once you might have gotten their trinket, you got them loaded up with dots and got yourself some buffs, and then you got them all stun locked. And then guess what? It just turns off the gravity and the enemy gets to get away scot-free. It honestly made me so mad. I was so unhappy playing this Brawl, but it was a lot of fun playing with viewers, and that was probably the best part of it. Besides that, oh my god, I love all the Brawls and I love Brawl ideas. It's just this one I am not a huge fan of. Anyway, let's get on to the patch update. Now, let's first get into the updates. There was only a few class changes that were created. The first one is for monks, and this is a minor one. It's just a leveling update. But Blackout Kick is now going to be 3 chi when you first start out your monk at level 1. Around level 10 or 12, it's going to go down to 2 chi. And eventually at level, I think, 22 exactly, it's going to drop down to a 1 chi. This is to slow down the monk leveling and the damage that you're able to do, especially to coincide with the 7.35 changes that they're doing for the new leveling for World of Warcraft in Legion. And I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. It shouldn't affect my Iron Man monk, but I feel like when it comes to leveling a monk at the start, that 3 chi Blackout Kick is definitely going to slow down your gameplay because you don't really do a lot of damage. If you're somebody who is planning on making a monk right now, I would say level 1 at least to level 20 or 30, so then you don't have to deal with this, especially with the fact that in the next patch you will be having your leveling reduced to basically a snail's crawl, which I'm pretty happy with, but I know some people will be very, very unexcited about this change. So if you were gonna level a monk, I think right now is the best time. The next change is to warriors, and it's kind of weird. They're basically rebalancing the numbers that they're doing in terms of mortal strikes and slams. Now I'm going to show you guys my non-max level warrior that I had to level to 102 so I can get the artifact weapon for warrior. I have exactly the same talents and exactly the same gear on PTR and live servers, so you guys can see for warriors how much damage I was doing. And it looks like they, from what I'm seeing, maybe it looks like they're adding a little bit more oomph into mortal strike, taking away a little bit from slam, or are they just buffing both? I'm not quite sure. You guys get to judge for yourselves. And now for the big one, Concordance, and they increased it. The cap currently of Concordance is 50, even though you might have gotten your weapon to that soft cap of 75, where you can utilize the Light Forged Netherlight Crucible. I can never get it right. The Netherlight Crucible in the new zone of Argus on that ship Vindicar. If you got yourself to about 75 worth of points for your weapon, then you're good to go. You have at least a soft cap for your weapon, but does not mean that that's the cap. You can technically continue playing and continue stacking Concordance to astronomical numbers that now we know. 50 was the cap in the current patch. In the next patch, 7.35, they're increasing it to 100. And it looks a little weird in terms of the math, because it seems your primary stat that it increases is going up by 1 up until around rank 70. And then at 70 or 76 or 78 or 68, 69, about there it goes up by 1,000. Eventually, the end outcome at level 100 would be 53,000 of your primary stat. And for me to imagine that kind of number as an Outlaw Rogue, let's say I have about maybe between 40 to 50k right now on my gear in terms of PvE. Not talking about the stat templates for PvP, which of course Concordance gets reduced, but even there, that'll be kind of game breaking, I feel like. So let's say I have about 50k worth of agility by the time I'm done with heroic and Taurus, and I got, let's say, the best gear that I can from just heroic. That means that Concordance is going to basically double my damage every time it procs. That feels a little bit silly. So I'm really hoping that this is just some kind of like a safe warning thing or a safety thing that they're just adding to kind of future-proof the patch in case somebody goes insane with a farm. I kind of like the Concordance system and artifact power system. I like the different traits that it provides us and the weapons and the different challenges, and I guess this system of, hey, you are never done with the game. There's always something to do. There's always something to work forward to. But I feel like we're getting kind of, it's getting a little bit out of hand, to be honest. I like it generally, but we're looking at some massive numbers in the game. Right now, when it comes to how much artifact power you're getting for, let's say, your weapon, we are looking at numbers that are as big as, I don't know, about 400 billion. Right now, that's how much AP is going to take before I get another trait unlocked for my weapon, and I'm not really farming, but whatever amount I have is whatever amount thrown into my artifact weapon for my Outlaw Rogue, because that's my main spec. So we see another number go from thousands into millions into billions, which I thought that's where it was kind of silly, but we're probably going to see it into trillions. But what are the chances of us seeing it into quadrillions? And what are the chances of us seeing this into quintillions? So I feel like the whole system of artifact power, while I like the concept, is just getting way too silly and way out of hand with numbers. I cannot wait for the stat squish in the next expansion. I repeat, I cannot wait for the massive stat squish that is needed in the next expansion. I could probably do a whole video on that on its own, because some of you guys asked me a lot of questions about this, so I might make a video just throwing down my opinions on it. But there's two explanations for this increase in concordance. One explanation that, hey, people love to farm, and there's somebody who's probably going AP crazy, farming so much AP that it's actually difficult to keep up with those guys. They might actually reach insane astronomical numbers. So when they are capped at 50, so they have a reason to keep playing, we're going to increase it to 100 so they can continue farming AP if that's what they want to get out of the game. Now, that is probably the best explanation for this. They're just kind of trying to future-proof the game and future-proof the patch, because it seems like, hey, this might be the last patch for the game, then we gotta get the Battle for Azeroth rolling out, and it'll take a while, blah blah blah. The only other explanation I have is they're increasing the concordance cap so that there's still something to do, because the next expansion might have a bit of a delay. If the next expansion, Battle for Azeroth, has a little bit of delay, and Blizzard are kind of expecting a delay out of the expansion, and they're kind of just trying to figure out, how do we keep players playing? How do we keep giving them more content? Hey, let's increase the artifact and concordance and how much you can farm, how much you're going to need to farm before you're really done, because you're never really actually done with that, I think, ever. So maybe this is an increase because they're expecting for people to spend even more time in Legion, and Battle for Azeroth isn't really quite ready to be rolled out. That's two different conclusions that I came up with. I'm really hoping it is just a cap increase for people that are super crazy at farming all of the concordance and all of the, like, people that farm materials, people that farm gold, people that farm concordance. I'm really hoping that this is one of those things to appease that crowd, and not really someone that's kind of saying, hey, there's a bit of a pushback and a delay with the expansion release, because I'm really, while I'm liking Legion, I had like the renaissance of the expansion. I'm really excited for the next expansion, really excited for the next iteration of WoW. You guys know how ADHD I am when it comes to video games. I love it when there's just new updates all the time on the regular, and the more I can get out of that, the happier than I am as a person sometimes. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. This was just a small update in terms of the PTR change. I'll have the link down below, because there's more stuff in terms of professions, and there's a little bit of quest stuff, and then it's probably a bit more spoilers and some model changes and pet battles and some artwork stuff. So you guys, if you're interested in stuff like that, you're more than welcome to, but that's not really what I'm into. I just kind of thought of covering everything that I was interested in and just kind of let it be. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want my channel to do well, just give the video a like. Videos will like tend to grow outside of the borders that they usually contained in. And of course, if you guys haven't subscribed yet and you are wanting to subscribe to the channel, the subscribe button is down below. But when you hit subscribe, make sure to hit the bell in description down below as well. because then you'll be able to be caught up with all the different streams that we do and the different videos, because I put out 2 videos a day and try to stream regularly as often as I can, except for Thursdays, which is my 1 day off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.